What? What?
Good morning, friends. Happy Thursday. What? Are you saying hi? The baby's just playing with his hair because that's the only thing you can see on the screen. I thought that was really funny. Well, good morning, everyone. It's been a while. It's been a little crazy around here. And I still haven't figured out when going live will work for me. I think now with having, hey, good morning, Homestead Love. Nice to see you. I think now with having Starlink, my signal is strong enough that I can steadily go live and not be so choppy or whatnot. Is this a new logo I see on your account? I thought I had my YouTube opened up, but clearly I did not. I'm going to have to go check that out. It looks like it's new to me. So I think I'm still trying to figure out when I can go live that steadily works out for me. But I'm getting there. Oh, look at that. Yeah, nice logo. I like it. New digs. Yeah, exactly. That's awesome. Looks great. But anyway, yeah, there's been a lot going on. It's also a busy time of year for anybody with holidays coming up, impending holidays, right? And we are butchering our own turkey for Thanksgiving. If anyone's been keeping up with that, we already have our Christmas turkey. That was kind of like a whole saga in itself, and I didn't really love how that turned out, but one of our toms got injured. Cliff Notes version, one of our toms got injured while I was trying to clip wings. He cut himself. I separated him so that he wouldn't, like the blood wouldn't attract the others to peck at him. He was separated for less than 12 hours. And when I put him back in, it started, like it threw off the whole balance pecking order. And they immediately started fighting. And it looked like he was holding his own. And the alpha, he was not the alpha, but the alpha was staying out of it completely. And it was the two other beta toms that were fighting, and he was holding his own, so I left him alone. And then as the day progressed, the alpha got involved, and once the alpha got involved, it was like a full-on brawl. And the injured tom ended up being killed. So we processed him and froze him, so he is our Christmas turkey. And then the other beta tom is going to be our Thanksgiving turkey. So my plan is to butcher him on, did I say Monday or Tuesday? I can't remember what I decided. I want him to be in the water for 2 days. So Tuesday and Wednesday. So I think we got to butcher him Monday night so that he can be in the water overnight and all of Tuesday and all of Wednesday. And then I'll take him out and cook him Thursday morning. So that's the plan for that. Haven't done that before. like baked a fresh turkey. You want to get them? So that'll be interesting, but I'm really excited. He was not, definitely not a waste. When he got injured, my husband and I were discussing whether or not we should just dispatch him, but the bleeding had pretty much stopped. So we were weighing. Hey, then get his over here. Come here. We're always trying to juggle whether or not, the animal is stressed out and in pain, and we don't want anything like that to happen and prolong any suffering or anything like that. But the bleeding had pretty much stopped, but it was so red that I didn't, birds are attracted to the red, and I didn't want anyone like attacking at him. So I separated them. But our kind of weighing our options, we were like, well, we could just dispatch him now, but there's still 3 weeks before we were planning on butchering him, and he could grow out and gain weight over those next 3 weeks. So that's why we decided to not dispatch him, since the bleeding had stopped and he seemed fine and healthy, and give him those last 3 weeks to kind of thicken up a little bit more. But so that obviously did not happen, since he ended up not winning the battle. And they went for the kill instead of the dominance. Yes. So he ended up being 11 pounds, which is it's not a bad size, but it's not a great size either. I would have rather him been closer to 20 pounds, but they're still babies. Even our Tom, our alpha Tom, he was 20 pounds alive, but then after you butcher him and gut him and everything like that, he only ended up being an 11-pound bird to cook. And since we froze him, he'll just be our Christmas turkey, and that's fine because it's just, our family. So an 11-pound turkey will be just fine for Christmas. So definitely not for waste, but that also, having a fresh turkey to butcher for Thanksgiving is going to be interesting, because I feel like Thanksgiving, can you guys stop screaming, please? Cut it out, please. Thank you. This is not the battle of screaming, okay? I feel like Thanksgiving is always a busy time trying to get all your items made in time and stuff like that, and throwing into the mix. Now I have to butcher a turkey. Oh, okay. Thank you. Status update. Check. Ugh. So that should make for another thing, but it's all about the journey and learning how to rebalance everything, and this is all new to us. And yeah, I don't have to worry about hosting because it's just my family, and then my dad will come over. But it's just like our nuclear family here, our family of 5, and then my dad will come over. So it's really like no pressure, and it just kind of is what it is. But even if it's just us, like, it's a holiday and it's special, and I want to make it special. And it's our first homegrown turkey for Thanksgiving, and fresh turkey. So we want to go to the nines and make it all fancy. And I got out all my fancy linen and
Mama.
Yeah, baby.
Please. No.
Oh yeah? Okay, thank you. And we are very thankful this year, fingers crossed, that if you guys saw, I think I posted on my community tab about the wildfire that's happening. I live on plateau, and the backside of my mountain, there's multiple mountains in the plateau. And the back of my mountain, I can see it's far off. There are 2 properties behind me, but I can see the edge of the cliff behind me, and it's not that far away. And there's been a wildfire, since Thursday night. And the first night, apparently, yes. Mm-hmm. Here, you want me to? Okay. And we have been on a burn ban in my area all summer. It's been extremely dry. We're in a drought. I remember when we moved here last year, October was so wet for us. It was so wet. It was incredible. And, you know, I'm not like a local yet or anything like that. And when I go to my Azure pickup, you know, I see lots of people that are there. And the hot topic was how there's a drought and how, you know, these people that have been living there all their life, they're like, we've never seen anything like this. This is so dry. There are wildfires popping up all over in my area. And my oldest was in flag football, and the season just ended. The last football game was the 4th of November, Saturday. And when we were there, it was at the high school. And when another parent who lived on that mountain, don't scream. What? Yes. Can you stop screaming? When they arrived, they told us that their mountain was on fire. And that burned for a week. And then ours started Thursday night. And we had no idea that it had even happened or what was happening. But I woke up in the morning and my neighbor had texted me at 1:00 in the morning and said, "Are you guys okay?" And I figured something had happened, but I figured if something big had happened, she would have called me to wake me up or whatever. So she's also one of those people that puts everything on Facebook. So I jumped on her Facebook, and it was, of course, all over her Facebook that there was a fire on the mountain. And apparently at 1:00 in the morning, and she's got bloodhounds. Her dogs like went crazy. And the fire department was basically in her front yard, which never made sense to me because she's like the furthest away from this fire. She's actually on the street. I'm a 1/4 of a mile in from the street into the mountain, and then there's another house behind me, and then there's another house behind them. So she's like all the way up here. I'm here. And then the other 2 are out there more. But they showed up in front of her house. And apparently they were coming down my driveway because I'm kind of at the top of you can't see my house from the street, which I love for privacy, but also I can go up there. And when I'm at the top of my driveway at the hill, I can see clear across to the top of the ridge. And so they came down my driveway looking to see if they could see anything from the top of my hill. Apparently they came all the way down to the house. No one knocked on our door. If you guys don't mind, I need to go assist my son in the bathroom. I will be right back. All right. All done. Yeah, so yeah, it was crazy, but I didn't even know it was happening because it was like 1:00 in the morning. And we didn't hear anybody coming down our driveway. We didn't know any of this was happening. I finally got a hold of my neighbor, and she like told me all of this stuff that had happened over the night, and we had no idea. But apparently it was closest to us that Thursday night, and you could actually see the flames just over the ridge, like of our mountain. The fire was on the other side, but it was the highest, closest. It never crested the mountain, but you could see the glowing. There's a road that's right over from me. Yes, baby. Okay. And if you take that road, it gets closer to the ridge, and you could see the flames from there. There's tons of pictures that people were taking and stuff like that, and it was pretty impressive. But that was the closest that it actually got to the top of the ridge. So it was never really super close to us or anything like that, and we were never in immediate danger. There was no need to evacuate. That's why they didn't come to my door. I later found out that the guy that lives, not the house behind me, but the house behind that, he is the closest to the ridge, and they had actually come to his door at 11:30 Thursday night to warn him that there was this wildfire. And then the fire department didn't show up until 1:00 in the morning. And then it got there. There are no houses that are right behind me. On the other side of my mountain, on the other side of the ridge, is a lumber factory, which, if you can imagine, I was freaked out that it was going to hit that. And then the houses are further west, and further down the mountain. So it was far away from houses. It was close to the factory, but it has moved across the mountain closer to the houses. And there are houses that are on the bluff, on the mountainside, and it got eerily close to them 2 nights ago. They finally brought out helicopters, or a helicopter that was dumping water over them all day on, oh gosh, what day was that? Monday, maybe? Monday or Tuesday. Maybe it was Monday is when they had the helicopters out, and it got pretty close. And the people that were on the bluff, they told to prepare for an evacuation. They did not tell them to evacuate, but they said be prepared in case this picks up and we can't control it. They had contained it multiple times. It burned 250 acres. Oh, I got it. Burned 250 acres. And it has all been woods. No structures have been burned. And thank God. But they had contained it multiple times, and it would jump the fire break. And we out here have, hey, no. All of our fire out here is volunteer firefighters, pretty much. So it's been all of my neighbors and the volunteer firefighters, which are pretty much just residents. And then they also called up some of my neighbors that they know have like big trucks or tractors or dozers or things like that. They were bulldozing things, and I heard lots of like the noise on this mountainside travels like crazy. So like I could at some points hear them very clearly. Yes. I have never experienced a forest fire before, and it was surreal. And so I'm only seeing this side of it, which I can't actually see the fire. I can hear them. I can hear the dozers, I can hear the chainsaws, I can hear the people, but I can't see any fire, and I can see the smoke. And then one day I posted on my Facebook that my yard was completely blanketed in smoke. And thank God it's only trees. Like I mean, it's terrible that it's trees, but the smoke was wood smoke and not like structural, yucky, really tainted smoke of like a structure or something like that. It's still terrible to breathe in. I felt really bad for my animals having to be out there because it was thick, but it just smelled like a campfire. And they got it contained again when it got really close to the homes. And then I had my bee meeting on Tuesday. So it must have been on Monday. Yeah, Monday they had out the helicopter all day. And that's when it got really close. And then Tuesday, I had my bee meeting at night. And Tuesday was the first time. And it started on Thursday. And on Tuesday was the first time that I went down and around to town. And I went in front of my mountain to see it from the other side, to see it from the highway. And I wanted to cry because just the expanse of it. And during the day, the woods on the side of the mountain are so dense that it was hard to tell the damage that was being done. But at night, you could see all the embers. And the active burn line was obviously very evident. It looked like, like a line of lava. But you could see the trail behind it of all the burning embers. And we got on Friday, so it started Thursday night, and on Friday we got some rain. But it was just a sprinkle, basically. And it, I think, helped that day to keep it settled down, but it didn't extinguish anything. We are supposed to get more rain on Friday, but that doesn't seem to be soon enough. It was scary. Thank God it didn't come up over the top of the mountain. But it's not out, and we're not out of danger. And it really got us thinking, too, of what we would do in an emergency. Yeah, it really got close to a couple of houses on the bluff. I was really nervous for my neighbors. And they're like down the road, and I've lived here for just over a year, and I still don't get like how the mountain curves and things like that. And on the road, it's like you got to go down this road and then go down this road and blah, blah, blah. But really, like as the crow flies, they're just like right there, kind of a deal. But it was very close for them. And it was surreal seeing it on the other side because I had never seen the flames. I had never seen the destruction. I saw lots and lots of like gray smoke. And when I saw the black smoke, that freaked me out more. But then seeing it Tuesday night was like, whoa, this is really nuts. And yesterday they had contained it overnight. And so yesterday was the first day since last Thursday that there hasn't been smoke in the sky. Look out right now. No, there's no smoke out there right now. Because it was weird. It would kind of be crazy during the day, and then it seemed like at night it would just naturally kind of die down. And I'm like, it's bizarre how it worked. Other than the fact that it started at night it seemed to dwindle, and then during the day it would stoke back up. And a couple of days have been really windy, and then a couple of days it hasn't been windy at all. But yesterday I had to go out and feed my bees for the winter and get them prepared for winter, because we're in a nice warm period right now, and we're supposed to be getting a cold front coming in, and you don't want to open up your bees when it's below 50 degrees. And the mornings are in the 50s here, but then when the sun comes out, like right now, it's 60 degrees. Oh, did you hit your mouth? I'm sorry. So I went out to go feed my bees for the winter and put like a mixture of sugar and water and ACV and some essential oils and this or like an equivalent like Honeybee Healthy kind of a deal to keep them as like an emergency backup for food for them over the winter. And part of that is you have to take your smoker and smoke them so that the bees all go down, so you could put it on the top and not harm them or upset them. You just kind of like want them to get out of the way. You don't want to smush them or anything. They need as many numbers as they can get going into winter. But I have never been so scared to use my smoker in my life. And I was just like, what if one little ember starts something up here? Like, we don't need any more fire. I'm nervous. Obviously nothing happened. It was fine. But I was like, oh my God, I don't want to mess with fire right now. And like a smoker is like a totally controlled, it's this little chamber or whatever. But it was just kind of like the trauma of the whole thing. I was like, oh God, I don't want to use my smoker right now. But it all went great, and the bees are fed for the winter, or at least a portion of the winter. So the bees I didn't take any honey from them because this was their building year. And so they had to use the nectar that they were harvesting from trees and bushes and plants and things like that. They use that to make the honeycomb, and they use that also to make their honey. But first they have to make all the honeycomb. So the beginning in spring, when I first got them, everything that they brought in, they converted it into wax to make their comb. So that then they could, whatever they pulled in after that, they had a place to put their nectar and mix it for honey for the winter, basically, and for their babies and their queen. So they spent most of what they brought in to first construct their house. They're basically making their house, and then once their house is set up, then they can fill it. So in the first year, you don't get anything really from your bees because they're hard at work. And then whatever they bring in the back half of the season, they need that to sustain them through the winter when nothing is blooming and they can't go out, because it's not cold that kills bees, it's moisture that kills bees. So they all stay together in a clump in the middle of your hive, and they protect inside of the center of the clump is the queen and the eggs, and they all just kind of create a clump. And the outside bees, they vibrate their wings to insulate the ball and keep everybody warm on the inside. And then there are workers that bring food that they have stored all around them. So the clump's like in the middle, and then all around them they have pollen and honey. And that's for feeding the eggs and feeding the workers that are all in this clump and the queen. Come here. Come here. So they create kind of like this little ecosystem within themselves, and then they rotate, and the outside ones that have been working their butts off, literally, to keep everybody else warm, they get to go in the center to sleep and eat and be fed, while the next ones move out and they do the work. So I did not take any honey from them, and I situated all the honey together for them, and I condensed them down as much as I could. And then on top of the frames, across the top of the frames, I added a sugar mixture that is a backup in case they work through all the honey that they have stored up. It's just an additional aid to get them through the winter. So that's all good. And I'm not going to open them up. I'm not going to go into them until spring. I will if we get, I live in Tennessee, so we could get a beautiful 80-degree day in January or something like that. And I can go take a peek in there and see these, I did 2 different sugar mixtures. I just did a sugar water mixture, which kind of hardened into a brick. And then I did another one that's like a recipe, a Kent Williams recipe, which is the sugar and apple cider vinegar, citric acid, and the Honeybee Healthy. And that one's more of like a slurry or a paste. And I kind of spread it along, I put down wax paper and I spread it across the top, and I'll just check their supplies on a warm day in winter just to see where they're at and how they're holding up. If it hasn't been touched, then they must be fine, right? Why are you making so many noises? But I won't go back into them until spring. And if I want to hear how much noise is going on in there and make sure that the clump is still alive and well in there, I can just kind of tap on the hive, and that will upset them enough for them to make an audible. What?
Puppy.
Where is your puppy? Go find it. Okay. You'll hear an audible buzz, and that's basically them saying, hey, cut it out. Leave me alone. That's kind of their warning, right? So if I want to check on them, I don't need to open them. I can just kind of agitate them enough to make them go, ooh, yeah, we're in here. Leave me alone. So I think they're good for the winter, hopefully. This will be my first winter having bees. I always keep a brick on top of my hives, but I think for the winter, I want to add another bigger weight. Some people ratchet them down and stuff like that. With where I have my hives situated, they're pretty protected by woods on at least one side, and then they're kind of protected from another side. But the wind side, they're totally protected by those woods. That's where the wind comes from. If your bees are out in a field somewhere, and there is no wind protection or windbreak, then that would be a good time to like ratchet them down. But I don't think I'll need to ratchet mine down. I do think I want to add one more big weight to them just in case, because even though I have winds or a windbreak and I have the woods, with the leaves being off, wind's going to be able to whip through there a lot faster. And being on this hill, the wind is pretty intense. So that's the last thing I think I'll have to do with the bees this year. I'm slowly but surely closing up my garden. I'm leaving my frost hardy herbs alone. I have my rosemary and my thyme and my sage and parsley even still in my garden beds. But I did pull out my basil, and my basil's been doing better in my house on my windowsill than it did in my garden. I think it got shaded out by my I had it on like the back furthest garden bed. So I think it kind of just didn't really get the most sun that it really wanted. So now it's thriving in my kitchen window. So I'm happy with that. But I want to, and I pulled out, I had my chickens, I gave my chickens my garden, and I fenced off my garden with their electric netting, and I let them have that for about a month. And they had a ball in there. And then they found some more sweet potatoes for me, which I was kind of hoping that they would. Yeah? Then get up. So they found sweet potatoes for me. Anything else that's in there, I'm just kind of hoping that it's going to sprout again next year or something. I don't know. But I also want to go over to my neighbor's house. She said that I could take, whatever manure that I wanted. And since this is a brand new garden, it was all grass before I tilled it up in, when did I do that? April or May, something like that. So I want to put another layer of her cow manure hay that she has left over. And then I have so many trees that have dropped their leaves. I'm going to cover it with that. And then that'll be put to sleep. Yes, baby. Then get up. And then that'll be put to bed. I have yet to plant my garlic because I was trying to, I have these 2 gardens that are on the side of my house. And those were my first 2 gardens that we put in here in November of 22 when we moved in. And that's where I planted my garlic last year. My garlic did not do very good. It doesn't have very much soil there. I never watered it. And I just got really puny garlic. And we use a lot of garlic. I've had great success with garlic in the past, but I just don't really like where it was planted in those beds. So I was thinking about putting it in my front garden. Hey, stop, please. But I want to put all this compost down. Last year, I didn't plant my garlic until. Can you stop, please? Help him. I didn't plant my garlic until Thanksgiving of last year. And now here I am, Thanksgiving of this year. And I don't have it planted. But my zone hardiness changed. I'm now a 7A. So that's interesting. I guess it doesn't I don't think, I mean, it's still fairly warm outside, you know. Carter, come on. Yay, I'm not alone. Yeah, I know. In every bed? Goodness, girl. Stop it. Nick, you're still around here, huh? Haven't seen you in forever. I see you on Facebook, but I haven't seen you on YouTube, but I haven't been on YouTube much either. Good morning. Every bed. Jeez Louise. That's nuts. I only have 4 beds though. Well, 4. What is the matter with you? 4 beds that have like sufficient amount of dirt in. And then those other 2 beds that are just like, it's good for lettuce. I have my brassicas in it right now. I don't know how well it's going to do. But I just want to work on the big garden and put some more compost in it and stuff like that. Yeah, I hear that. I had to take off some time from YouTube. I don't think I posted any in October. I mean, I know it's not that much of a break, but I need a break every June. I didn't post anything because I was too busy, and I don't think I posted anything in October. I don't know. I just needed a timeout, a personal mental timeout, and I need to focus on things that need to get done. Like June was just mad crazy with the homestead and gardens and stuff like that. And then October, I think I was just kind of run down, and I just needed a timeout. So I hear that. But yeah, I hope you're feeling better soon, because that's never fun. How's your new land working out, actually, Nick? I know you've been there for quite some time now, and it's not super new, but you guys have been doing a lot. But I'm not gonna lie, I haven't kept up really with what you've been doing. I just see you on Facebook every once in a while. Are you gonna behave?
Yeah.
I always love seeing what people are doing, and seeing how they change things, how they evolve. It's always fun. Danielle, I liked your tea sharing. That's fun too. Yes, I hear that. Well, thanks for stopping by. It was great to see you. You're doing great with those sheep. It's fun. Well, it's fun for me to watch. I don't know how much fun it is for you to wrangle, but I wish you all the best, and I hope it all works out. Yeah, I mean, and I just moved our pigs. It's like my next, after I deal with the turkey and Thanksgiving, the next thing I have to focus on is our pigs. We have to get ready to start butchering. Hey, Ashley, good morning. Good to see you. I have to get ready to learn how to butcher pigs, because we're going to do that ourselves, because that's what I'm all about. And you as well, sir. I got a half of a cow again, and I just got it a couple weeks ago. And I love my farmer. He's actually my dad's neighbor, but that's like his summer home. His real home is some hours away in like central Tennessee. And he's a big farmer. And so I really want to work with him. And I like working with him. I like working with someone I know. I like what he's all about. And I believe in what he's doing. But then he gives it to the butcher, and like it's kind of like a weird feeling for me, because like there's like this kind of disconnect, right? And I'm so glad that we have butchers that will do this and stuff like that, but like I can only imagine, like coming from the farmer's perspective, like my dad's neighbor has spent the last 18 months basically working his tail off. Did you hurt yourself? Yeah. Okay. Do you need a kiss?
Yeah.
Where? Oh, on your head. Okay. Mwah. All better?
Yeah.
Okay. He's been raising up this beef for 18 months or whatever, and then he has to hand it over to the butcher, and he has no more say in the meat or the quality of the cuts or the quality of this or that or whatever. And that's meat that he's been growing for and putting in effort and time and money and all this other kind of stuff into this meat. And then he hands it over to the butcher, and the butcher does whatever they're going to do. And they cut it up. They take the order, like the customer, i.e. me, I have to call the meat shop or the butcher and tell them what cuts I want, what thickness I want, what kind of packaging I want. Blah, 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 blah. I place the order with them. They do the hanging time. They butcher it. They package it up. The butcher is, look at you. The butcher is 4 hours away from me. And his farm is 2 hours away from me. So he knows this butcher. That's why he brings his cows there. And they have like this working relationship, I guess. And so then when drops off the cow, they do the hanging, they do the butchering, they do the packaging. Then they call me and say, hey, your meat's ready. So then I got to call him back, and he actually goes and picks it up for me, and he brings it to me, so that I don't have to drive out 4 hours or 2 hours or whatever. He brings it basically to his house, and I just go down and get it, or my dad brings it up when he comes up. So it's a nice like little system that I have worked out, but there's a lot of like moving cogs in that. And this time I got the half a cow just to myself. The last time I got a half a cow, I split it with my dad, and it wasn't enough for my family. So this time we splurged and we got the whole half a cow for our family specifically. That quarter of a cow that I got, we stretched for almost a year. But we like beef, and we like eating steak and potatoes. Like my boys love eating steak and potatoes, and we skimped on that quite a bit to make it stretch for a year. We went through the ground beef like lickety split. That lasted us maybe 8 months, maybe. But we supplemented with venison and things like that. But we make like a lot of tacos and chilies and chili macs and things like that. We use a lot of ground meat, and it's easy for the boys to eat and things like that. So this time, can you get him down, please? So when I got this shipment or this half of a cow, I request everything from the cow. I want all the organs. I want all the bones. I want all the fat. I want everything. And with the first time that I got the half a cow that I split with my dad, I took all that because he wasn't interested in it. Yeah. Breeding. Yeah, that's like a whole nother thing. Like, we are so not on the level. Like, I would love to breed, but Mike and I have talked about it, and we don't have the infrastructure for breeding. We would love to do that, but we just know we're trying to be realistic with ourselves and know that we can't do that right now. We don't have the finances to make a permanent structure that can hold and protect piglets. We don't have a big enough structure to hold and contain a boar when the sow is in heat and we're trying to keep them separate. Like, you need some like good infrastructure. You need good fencing. You need things, and we don't have that. So that's like on our list of things to do. Yeah, I'm always looking for things like that. So, and like I've been kind of stretched. I've been stretched pretty thin this year. Like, we went pretty big our first year, and we went big, and then we scaled it back, and that's what we ended up with. Baby, I'm talking, okay? Thank you. I'll talk to you later. When we did the stuff that we ended up doing, it was still a lot because, and I'm not like trying to like talk bad about my husband or anything like that, but he's never here to do any of the things except for the weekend. And then he's got his own list of things that he wants to get done and that I need his help to do. So, like, I'm the only one that does all the daily chores, all the daily maintenance, all the things, really. So I've been kind of stretched thin, and I was like, can we feasibly take a year off of pigs? And not that they are a lot of work, but they were, because I was moving them every 2 days. They are a pasture pig. I got them on purpose because I have a lot of pasture. But in moving them on my pasture, I also live on a mountain. And some of my land is really nice, and I have a good amount of topsoil. And some of my land is straight up boulders. And some of those boulders are like a half an inch underground. So you actually don't even know they're there until you try to step on a peg into the ground and you hit a boulder, and you don't know how big that boulder is, but now you're moving 150-pound animals, and you're like, oh shoot, I've already moved this fence. I got to find a way to get this post into the ground to hold my pigs. So that was like a lot for me. And so we had this discussion. I'm like, can we skip the pigs for a year? And we came up with the answer of no, we can't do that. And we have 2 pigs, and yes, we're going to butcher 2 pigs one at a time because this is our first time. But I think that we eat a lot of pig too. Yeah, and I love my IPPs because they barely root. And the downfall of the coonies is that they just take so darn long to grow out. And an IPP is a Berkshire Duroc cooney mix. So they have the temperament of a cooney, but the fast growing and meat quality of the Duroc and the Berkshire. Yeah, exactly. That is the downfall of the coonies is that they take so long to grow out. Right. Yeah, there's that aspect too, but also just to be self-sufficient. Like the people that we got our IPPs from, they decided to take a break from breeding. Because it was a lot. And I understand that, but now I'm like, I reached out to get back on their list and they're like, oh, we're taking a break. And I'm like, oh, okay. So now our plans kind of have shifted, but we do want, basically we feel like if we were to take next year off of getting piglets, we would make it through all of our pork probably by the time we got piglets in 2025. And then we'd have to wait the 10 months to then get more pork. And we always want to be in the pork and not have like this lag year. So we have to get pigs next year so that we're always in the pork. And we would like to be self-sufficient, not have to try to find a breeder and all this other kind of stuff. And then, yes, absolutely, the income of selling these other pigs. The one downfall of these IPPs is their feed. Yeah, right. The IPPs have like this special diet, and I don't just give them, they require a little bit more nutritionally. And there's nobody around me, and it's not even a difficult mix. It's cornmeal and minerals that I have to buy and bring to the feed store, and distiller grains and something else. It's 4 things, but nobody around me wants to mix feed. It's like a dying art, I guess. And the only place I can find it is 2 hours away from me. So I got to drive 2 hours, or maybe it's closer to 3 hours. Yeah, it's 3 hours away. And it's 2 hours past Mike's work. So he takes it with him to work, has to take the minerals out there, and then drive 2 hours past his work to drop off the minerals. Hold on, please. Drawn on walls. Oh my goodness. So that's just to drop off the minerals. And then we had to go back after they had mixed all the feed. Come here. Then we had to go back after they had mixed all the feed to pick up the feed. So once we got it, it was great to have all the feed that we were going to need for the duration of these pigs' lives. Come here, Carter. But getting it was just a total pain. However, I did meet at my Azure pickup a local pig breeder. Stop. Come here. And she breeds pigs, and she came up. She's been raising pigs for like 5 years, and she came up with like her own mix of pigs. And they are like a Duroc Berkshire mix. So they're basically like an IPP. I don't think they have any cooney in them. But Can you stop crying?
Yeah.
Okay, you're fine. But she really likes them, and she has 4 more left to butcher this season. And she has said that my husband and I, can you stop? Can come and butcher them, come with to their house to watch them butcher and help them butcher so I can get some hands-on experience. I'm super excited about that. They're in my town, so I'm happy to have like a resource that is right here that I can just reach out to. She also said that she wouldn't mind possibly loaning me her, like, if we wanted to maybe butcher our pigs at her place, because I don't have a barn. I don't have a setup. I'm going to be butchering these pigs in my tiny house on a stainless steel table that I just got. Like, I don't have the things. I'm new to all this, you know, I'm just kind of trying to do what I can do. So that's a really awesome, like, thing that she offered. But at the very least, just going and getting some hands-on experience, some eyes-on experience. She gave me a really good reference for a book for butchering, and it wasn't just for pigs. Maybe I'll find it and link it to this video or this live, the book that she suggested for butchering. And it was like sheep, goats, pigs, rabbits. It was a few different animals, but she was like, this is a really good resource. She actually went to a hand-hewn farm pig butchering class. And if you guys aren't familiar with hand-hewn farm, they are the farm that came out to like Roots and Refuge, and I think they went to the Hollers, or maybe they went to Justin's. I don't know, that whole clan. Like, that's the butchers that went to their homesteads and helped them with their pig butchering. But I know for sure they went to Roots and Refuge and helped them with their La Manchas. So she actually went to one of their butchering classes in Ohio, and she said she learned a ton. And so I'm really excited to see what she learned, how she does it, get hands-on experience, get eyes-on experience. And they also breed these pigs and sell these pigs. And while I do really love these IPPs so far, I have to find a new IPP breeder. I have to get this feed. She feeds the person my local pig breeder. She uses a local feed store and uses a pellet feed that she's really happy with. Well, have a great day, Danielle. So great to see you. I really appreciate you for coming by and hanging out with me this whole time. That was awesome. So I'm kind of like open to this, I'm excited to see how their meat turns out, because I'm another one of like the pros of having these IPPs is that they're supposed to have really excellent meat. And hey, Lulu's Cheshire Trove, thank you so much for coming up. Oh, awesome. I'm just happy to have you here. One of the benefits of having these IPPs is they're supposed to have a really great meat fat ratio. Yeah, like I'm not like a big Facebook person, in that like I share everything on Facebook and stuff like that, but there are definite pros and cons to Facebook, but I just ignore all the stupid things, but it's nice to see people that I don't see very often, because I moved away from my family. It's a connection for all my family to see what I'm doing, because where I would love for them to be on YouTube and watch me on YouTube. I think that they only see what is going on in my house and with my family through Facebook. And there's a lot of really good connections. Um, and I have met a lot of good local people. And I think you were even talking about it, Ashley, that, you were having trouble finding local connections. So maybe make a CNC farm Facebook page just so that you can be on there to get connected and see the things. um it is what you make of it, just like anything else. I mean, YouTube can be just as trollish and all this other kind of stuff. So if you can do YouTube, and you're doing YouTube great, so maybe see if you can get back on Facebook just to get involved and stuff. But I'm super excited. And she actually and I don't know if you do Azure. I don't think you do, but that has been a really good place to meet like-minded people that are doing the same thing you are, people that are just as lost as you are, like all the things. But it's getting connected to the people in your area that are doing the same things as you. I have found very beneficial. And like also getting involved in clubs. Like I got girl, you don't have to get into it all. But yeah, no, I totally get it. But yeah, make a CNC page. Who cares? No one, I mean, people that know you, truly know you, will know it's you. And then you just build up from there, and people that know you on YouTube can follow you too. For a year? Seriously, girl, what are you waiting for? How close is your drop? I'm sure you've mapped that out by now. It's totally worth it. And if you have any questions or whatever, hit me up. There are tips and tricks and things like that. I've been doing it for probably 5 years now. And I've learned a lot. 25 minutes is nothing, girl. That's awesome. When I lived back in Chicago, there was one that was literally like 5 minutes away from my house, and that was phenomenal. Now I have to travel about 25 minutes myself. I see. Yeah. Okay. I get it. Yeah, absolutely. You could get smaller. Take some stuff out of your cart. You got to start somewhere, right? Oh, really? You're working on the weekends? That's awesome, but also I know that that's probably a big sacrifice for you as well, because weekends is project time, is family time, is rest time, like all the things. So to give up your weekends is a big sacrifice. That's a hard decision to make. I'll probably have to do the same thing at some point, but not quite yet. I'm going to hold on to it as long as I can. Ashley, did you have any luck selling anything at the meetups, or are you selling anything on the side? Did you try that at all? It looked like you had quite a bit at jams and stuff like that. Who cares, girl? Do what you got to do. You got to make the best of it. You'll also meet a ton of people there, I'm sure. That'll be a way you'll start meeting people for sure. Work in a public, public domain like that. You'll meet all kinds of people. What's up, Devin? I was actually just thinking about you the other day. I was like, I haven't seen him in a while. Wonder what they're up to. Oh, no way. Is that why you got the job there? You're too funny. Oops. Yeah, see, I'm not the only one. It's like a reunion. Hey, what's going on? Summers are busy, Things are going on. Everyone's got to do their things. But we're all always here, right? But yeah, you'll meet all kinds of people at a Cracker Barrel. So that might give you some good access to some people. But yeah, so that's my next venture is into pig butchering. She actually just reached out to me yesterday, and she's like, "Hey, I haven't forgotten about you. I didn't forget. We still have 4 pigs to butcher. We do 2 at a time, so there'll be 2 opportunities for you to come and watch the butcher. But I didn't want you to think that I forgot about you." And I was like, well, the thought did actually kind of cross my mind. But I also know it's a busy time of year and the holiday and all sort of kind of stuff. So that's exciting. It might happen this weekend. It might happen after Thanksgiving, but excited. Yeah, I took a break from making videos too because I was burnt out as well. But I can't wait to see your videos on what you have done at the property. I got to make a video of our progress over the years. I never made our initial farm tour video and showing you guys everything. So my plan was to show an update at a year, and that was October 7th. So that happened, right? But I'm still going to make it. But I thought it would be a fun to catch up kind of a thing too, as to what we're doing. You did? That's awesome. That's one thing that Tennessee sucks on, is that they can't sell milk for human consumption in Tennessee, which is a bunch of baloney. There are ways around that, but it would be nice to not have to, curtail around things like that. It should be for human consumption. But that's really exciting, Ashley. Have you tried it? You need to video it. I wish. I don't have a connection for milk. That's on my list of things, but because it's illegal here, I can't talk about it. Yeah. Well, and I need to make it while I still have these animals before I butcher them all. No, that's kind of sick, but kind of also true. Yeah, I mean, it's all a revolving door. My animals work for me, and I have them for a purpose. But yeah, the pigs are growing big. Harvesting a turkey next week for Thanksgiving. I already dispatched a bunch of roosters in this year's babies for meat. And our guineas are free range now because I have booted them from any chicken enclosure. And they seem to like it because before, when I would kick them out, they would just jump right back in and not want to leave. But now they actually like stay out, and if they go back in, they go in for the night and then they fly out in the morning to like forage, which I'm like, finally, do your guinea thing. Like, I got you for a reason, otherwise I'm going to eat you. Oh, that's awesome. And I'm so close to the Georgia border. I don't know the rules in Georgia. It might be legal in Georgia. Maybe I can find somebody over the border. And then maybe I'll meet up with like Danny or something like that. Or I think Robin lives right over the border too. Maybe I'll do something like that. Maybe they know somebody. All thoughts for next year, because I'm not taking that on. All thoughts for next year. I'm not taking that on right now. Got too much on my plate. Just got to focus on how I'm gonna. I have in my bee club one of my. What? Okay. What'd you hurt? Well, are you supposed to be jumping around on the couch like that? Oh, yeah, I see ya. You got scratches. Oh. What about this one? I don't see anything on this one. But it gets a kiss too, okay? Yeah, you just flipped right off of there, didn't you? Yeah, don't jump around, please. All right, well, these kids are getting restless. I better go wrangle them. It was fun catching up with you all. I'm going to try to do more lives. I always say that. It's hard with the boys. But this seems kind of like a time that I might be able to do it. Keep it in the back pocket. But it was nice catching up. So happy that you guys all decided to join in with me. Pray for rain for us because the wildfires are still going. They are contained, but we need this rain. It's supposed to rain tomorrow, but it rained the day after it started, and it was just like a sprinkle. We actually need real rain. So get on that. No, I'm just kidding. All right, but otherwise, have a great day, everybody. If I don't see you before Thanksgiving, have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Enjoy family and delicious food, because that's always what Thanksgiving's all about. But have a great day, everybody. Bye.